I tell you what, it's been an interesting week. I tell you what, I've had an interesting week. This show will tell you how interesting my week was, and I'm not just talking about football. I'm not just talking about League Two playoff final with one team going to League One. I'm talking about something else in behind that as well. Right at the end of this show, I'm going to bring you a real to-life story account from yours truly about a UFO sighting I had last night, and I've got the footage to show you, videos and picture. Stick around till the end, and I'll show you that. But in this show, it's all about the final. It's all about Crawley Town. It's all about CREWE Alexandra. CREWE Alexandra. I tell you what, my dad used to go to CREWE Alexandra quite a lot. That's why I've got a little bit of an attachment to CREWE, but I've also got a bit of an attachment to Crawley, because one of my friends is a Crawley Town fan. So I'm stuck right Jimmy in the middle, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a great show what we're bringing you. We've got 3 great videos for you. You obviously saw some great goals coming in, right? Yeah, nothing like highlights to start the show off, right? And also a good bit of sarcasm too. We've got 3 other videos coming for you. We've got the news video, we've got the stats video, and we've also got a Copa America, mi amigo. ¿Cómo estás? How you doing, my friend? Yes. Copa America. I'm going to cover that this summer. The next show up is about the 4 groups. Then we'll talk about the competition after that, and then we'll get into it. So you'd be wise to subscribe and get into the family that's growing like by the minute. And we've got to say one thing. Daniel O'Neill in Pembrokeshire, Wales. Mum is Mary, Dad's Liam. Big up to all 3 of you. Big up to Liam. Liam wants to become a YouTuber, and he's only 13. Haven't got a picture of you, Liam, right now because he's 13, so I've got to get permission to show it. But next show up, if we get the picture, we'll show you Liam. And but remember, Liam, to you personally, if you want to be a YouTuber, it's about consistency. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. And if you bring the right quality and you're good at what you do, eventually some people will start to follow you. Also, if you stick with it for like 3 years minimum, you'll start to see your numbers grow. Then you can start to bring your channel further, and then you can start to earn money. But for Liam O'Neill, Daniel O'Neill, Liam's the dad, Daniel O'Neill, young lad, big up to you. Become a YouTuber, and let's get into this show. But I tell you, we've got lots to get into. This is the final banter. It's the final game of League Two for me this season. I've done 46 pre-games each week, each game, for League Two throughout the season. And you probably have seen me if you're one of these 2 teams' fans, CREWE or Crawley. Big up to both of you. You're in for a massive final, a massivo game. And I tell you, you're going to bite your nails right off. You'll have no nails left after about 5 minutes in. And I've got a great amount of stats, great amount of stories for both your teams. So you'd be wise to stick around for the football and the videos and the sarcasm. Yeah. And also that UFO video story at the end. Grab a cup of coffee. This is not a 5-minute show. You're going to love it. Remember, pay for your ticket. What do I mean? If you're here for the first time, pay for your ticket means hit the like button, like the video, and also join the family and be sarcastic like yours truly and drop a comment down below. Let's start moving along, shall we? So welcome in, and it's the final game, the last game of the season. One of these 2 teams is going to League One. Is it your team? Are you a Crawley fan? Are you a CREWE Alexandra fan? Because if you are, drop a comment down below. Tell me why you think you're going to win this final. Tell me why your team is going to League One. Tell me why you deserve it more than they do. And who's going to be the difference on the day? We've got some names to go through. We've got some stats to go through pretty soon. You're going to get the gist of where I'm going. But let your pen start a flowing and get some writing done down below. Be a poet on the Ultimate Soccer Show. So, welcome in. It's now talk time about the final. Yes, talk time. Final banter. And if you've got something to say downstairs, Crawley, CREWE, drop it downstairs. Say something. Do something. Represent your team. It's a final, right? Anyway, looking at it this way. Crawley Town finished 6th. I tell you, I watched Crawley do well towards the end of the season, and I did say that they had a good chance of getting in there. They just made it happen, didn't they, eh? But didn't they make it happen? Yes. It was a very close call towards the end, but they just made it happen. It was the games preceding to that and the form preceding to that that really did make it happen, and they're there on merit. And I've got to say, very entertaining team to watch as well. Definitely a good ball-playing team and can be disruptive for the opposition. I mean, they do score. They do score. You're going to hear about it. But you've got to say, Scott Lindsay, the coach, since 11th of Jan 2023, he's been there, and he's got a 41.5 winning percent record. That's pretty good. Hence, that's why they're in the final, pretty much, or at least into the playoffs. Then you've got to say 7th place CREWE ALEXANDRA under Lee Bell. Hired November 4th, 2022. He's been there 2 years, yeah. His winning record is 37.5. Not the greatest, but you have to say the way he steered the team into the playoffs, that was a great feat. So you've got to look at it in a few different ways. And I said this last show before the second legs. Take a listen. So you know who I'm saying is taking these games. Anyway, enjoy it. Bite your nails off. Either sets of fans get ready for Wembley. Either sets of 4 teams, because it's still possible, right? No one's been written off yet. Yes, 2 terrible performances, but you've seen teams come back before. 2 goals is a dangerous lead. Yeah? Depends who's got those 2 goals, I'd say. 3 goals, that's not a dangerous lead. That's a commanding foot. That's 1 foot in the final. So who will join Stockport County, Mansfield Town, Wrexham AFC in League One next season? There's going to be one winner from the final, and it could go all the way. But will it be Crawley Town, or will it be CREWE ALEXANDRA? Down below. Please tell me what you're thinking, where you're from, and what's your team. Let's take a look at some news now, not necessarily from these 2 teams, but also definitely from a League 2 team. Take some news right now. Before we move along, Wrexham, one of the teams that has been promoted to League One for next season, along with Stockport County and Mansfield Town. Well, Wrexham AFC have hired a new CEO, and this guy is a mountain coming in from Inter Milan. I wonder how serious Wrexham's future's looking right now when you start picking up people like that. And if you're thinking about Wrexham, well, think about the tour that they're going on, yeah? Going to Vancouver to finish off the tour. Personally, look at that. That is a dream come true for me. And I tell you what, looking at the guys' tour before we move along, Wrexham take on Bournemouth on the West Coast in the USA, Los Angeles. They also take on Chelsea after that. And then they finish in Canada with the Vancouver Whitecaps. And I will be at that game, and I will be keeping you in touch with all those games because I live over here. So get ready for some great reports on the Rex tour. And also, don't forget, we'll be talking about the women's team as well as they take on SoCal, Southern California, Tigres Femenal, Tigres Women U19, and Portland Thorns Academy as they too go up the Rex Coast Tour in 2024. Let's get back on screen. And let's not forget, Copa America, that's coming too. We're going to touch the groups pretty soon with a show coming up. And we're also going to be touching the preview of what's happening with the rankings, top scores, titles, who's had the most hostings, yada, 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 yada. All the good stats. You're going to get that in the Copa America. Mi amigo, ¿cómo estás? My friend, how you doing? Anyway, let's get back into the meat and the veg now. We're going into the stats. We're going into the numbers. We're going into what you really want to hear. So, at a glance off the board, I've got something prepared for you right now. Last 5 games, and they include playoff games too, yeah? Crawley Town, 3-2-0, 3 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses. Very handy. 13-4 in the goals, 13 scored 4 against, +9. +9. The last loss was Colchester United. That was a 3-2 loss at home. That was 6 games ago. So nothing to worry about. Clean bill of health. Unbeaten in 5. You better stay unbeaten, Crawley, because if you don't, you know what it means. Now, CREWE ALEXANDRA, on the other hand, CREWE all season were doing bloody magic here. I mean, if you said what was their mean average position throughout the season, it was 5th. Absolutely in 5th. And a few times, I think, if I cast my mind right, I think CREWE ALEXANDRA were in 3rd at least 6 or 7 times through the season. But I guarantee you this, there was one stage CREWE were 3rd for 4-week span or 4-game span where they were 3rd 3 of those 4 weeks. So they held down 3rd place for a certain amount of time, but hence the way it finished with 2 wins in the last 10, basically, it slipped away from them. at the end of the day, Crew fans, I know you found form in the playoffs, but bloody hell, that was a close call, yeah? You nearly didn't make it. So, last loss was Doncaster Rovers. Obviously, that was in the playoffs, and that was May 6th. That was the first leg in the playoffs. So, again, not the best form coming into things, but it's a final. So it could go either way. Who you think is going to win it? Is it the form team, Crawley, or the non-form team, Crewe? What do you think? Is it Crewe finding form late in the day, but finding it nonetheless? Down below, tell me what you're thinking. Now, head to head, got some stats for you right now. Again, I'm looking straight at the board. This is all prepped for you. 3 wins for Crawley, 3 draws, 12 wins for Crewe in the last 18 games. I'd tell you that's pretty heavy. 17% wins for Crawley, 67% wins for Crewe. In a final, it means nothing. Nothing. Or does it? Does it mean something? Who's going to win the final? Does historical stats tell you something? Or does it tell you nothing at all? And when you're looking at the big clubs, it definitely does. So let's look at the table right now. So that was a table. Now take a look at the stats file. Interesting video, not that long, but you'll definitely get something out of it. And if you're a stats fan, you'll definitely get something out of it, like PJ down in Australia. I tell you now. And maybe Daniel in Pembrokeshire. So, my friend, it doesn't get much bigger than this. As you know, this is the final game. And you know what? This is the last time I'm going to say League Two. Because next year, it's League One, League One, League One, all the bloody way. And I'm looking forward to that one. But this is the final banter on the pre-game. Let's take a look at some of the stats right now, because I know there's people on this channel that like stats. And if you're here for the first time, remember, press pause and hold for a while. You get to see that image a lot longer because we've got some stats coming right now. First question to you down below. Give me an answer. Who's going to score first? Who's not going to score? What is the score going to be? Down below, guys. Drop me a comment down below. This is the final. This is the only time you get to talk about final before the final. So drop us a comment down below. Who's going to score first? Now, if you're a big stats fan, you're going to love this. Take a look at that. Take your time. Remember, press pause and have a little longer. Let's look at the possible lineups. Yeah, take a look at that. A lot of the guys there will do damage. We're going to talk about that as we go through the show, but you'll see it. And remember, that's how the table finished all those weeks ago. Not that long ago, actually, but let's look at the final in a bit more detail. That's quite nice detail, isn't it? There's 3 teams that have already got to League One. Yeah, let's close the lights on those guys. Bring on the lights for Crawley. Bring on the lights for Crewe. And let's say, what do you think? Drop us a comment down below. Who's going through to League One? Who's going to win this playoff final? Crewe or Crawley? You let me know down below. Now, you've seen the stats. Let me tell you about the danger men from both teams. And if you're a Crewe fan, you need to watch out for Crawley's, for say, Ozzy Dadamo, 22 goals on the season. Lolos, 13 goals. Adam Campbell, 7 goals. Darcy, 6 goals, and Liam Kelly, 5 goals as well. Those are possibly the guys that are going to do the damage on you. So keep an eye on them. And if they're in the lineup, you know you could well be in for some damage. Crawley fans need to watch out for Crewe's Nevitt, who's on 16, Baker Richardson, I should say, on 9, Dimitriou on 9, Chris Long on 9, 3 guys on 9. You hear what I'm saying? Could be danger time. Adebisi on 4. So both teams really do have scoring prowess. And there's more than one guy can do the damage. But if you heard those numbers and you were a betting man, you go 16,999. Well, 999 is not a great number in the UK now, is it? So take that for a little bit of a clue on that one. I've got to say, repeat question to you again, guys. I've got to say, who's going to join Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham in League One? Is it going to be Crewe or is it going to be Crawley? Tell me down below. Give me the score. Who's going to be the man of the match? Who's going to be that man? Yeah? All those questions I'm throwing out to you, there's got to be somebody biting on that to give me some good stuff downstairs, yeah? And also, incidentally, betting odds before we go up. The betting odds. CREWE Alexandra, 3-1 on to win. Crawley, 2-1 on to win. It's very close, but they're giving the edge to Crawley. How do you feel about that, Crewe fans? How do you feel about that, Crawley fans? Drop a number down below. Tell me how you're feeling about it. But that's the betting odds. Now, I've got to tell you some other stuff here before we march along, before we get along. But defense, you got to say, Crewe's defense has got to be on song today. When that game gets kicking off, their defense has got to be flawless. You've got to keep Crawley off the board. Can you do that? Can Crewe keep Crawley off the board? Is that even a possibility? Really? Is that a possibility? The momentum is definitely with Crawley. 3 wins in 5. 13 goals, 4 against, +9 in 5. Definitely. In 60% of Crawley's games, both teams score. So then we might be in for a cracker of a final. If we get teams scoring, you'll get my prediction image coming up soon. Yes, my prediction image. Every week I drop one. So the prediction image is telling you exactly what the score is going to be because I tell you exactly how it's going to finish. Remember? Slice of sarcasm, you'll get where I'm going with that. But I will give you my score and you'll see where that goes. But 60% of the time when Crawley play, both teams score. So have that for size. Crawley will likely score in this final, and they've scored in 9 games straight. There's another big stat. Scoring 13 goals in 5, 9 games straight. Crewe, let's take it this way, are currently undefeated in the last 5 away. So there's 2 ways to look at this. You're looking at form team Crawley, whoa, but Crewe are undefeated in their last 5 away. Let me think. Wembley Stadium, the holy grail of football. That's an away game for both teams. Maybe suddenly Lady Luck, karma, is switching over to Crewe's side and not Crawley. Down below, tell me which way it's going. I'd love to know. Scoreline. Who's going to score the first goal as well? You saw it in the stats, but who's going to score that first goal? I'm telling you. The thing is, however Crewe have failed to score in 3 of the 5 last games, it doesn't matter. It's what happens now. But if you do go to form, Crewe have not scored in 3 of the last 5. That could be deadly, you think. And again, I got to say, with all the form of Dropshire and all the stories of Dropshire, a single game at Wembley, the Holy Grail, it can come down to one error, one guy's mistake, one slip in defense, one terrible pass to the keeper, and the keeper doesn't manage in time, and before you know it, someone's on him. Someone's on him big time. It could also be too many at ease, and you know what? Luke Cooney, Crewe, remember a couple of games ago, I told you was getting one of these, and you did. Get down in the library, people. I quoted that before the game, and I tell you, there's a guy, Jeff Williams, who watches this show regularly. He knows exactly what I'm saying. So are we going to get a red card in the final? Is it going to happen there too? Or will it just be a yellow and another yellow? It's going to be interesting. Cards going to happen. Will they happen? Will it impact on this game? And finally, before we cut out, again, I'm going to ask you, which of these 2 teams will join Stockport County champions, Mansfield Town, Wrexham in League One? Who's it going to be? Big question. So get ready for a great game at Wembley, the holy grail of football between Crawley Town and CREWE Alexandra. And Crewe may have thought they would have had an automatic promotion spot early in the season, but it hasn't happened. But now they have time to make amends. And Crawley Town, who were not in the top 7 for so long in the season, have now got time to take a chance of a great opportunity in their first match at Wembley in their history. I wonder how you feel as a fan with your team in this game. I know how I'd feel. I really do. But how do you feel about seeing your team? And are you going to Wembley? And if you are, you have it to make a comment down below prior, during, and post-game about your experience of it all, because the playoffs really does. It's a second cup, for say, but it's a big cup, and it can be a massivo trip for all the fans from both sets of teams. So, I wish both teams well. I really do. But here's my prediction image before we fly out of here. Yeah, that is my prediction image to you. Yeah, Crewe. or Crawley. That's what I'm saying. And if I'm wrong, you're going to let me have it. And that's good, because on this show, down below, you can say whatever you like. You can't be dropping the F-bomb stupidly, obviously, but you can say what you like. Nobody gets banned. Nothing gets wiped. No one gets hidden. Like a lot of hosts, they like to hide you so you can't impact the channel. I don't hide anybody. Get in there. Make it what you will. Remember, we're finishing off with a UFO story still to come. That's real deal. And I've got to say, remember to pay for your ticket. Like the video, like you do. Join the channel. Get ready for a massive game. This is not going to be like any game you guys have had in a long time, Crew Crawley. Enjoy every second. And there's going to be tears of joy and tears of sadness when 90 plus, or even longer, or even worse, when it's all said and done. But there will be tears of joy and tears of sadness on both sets of fans. Will it be you that has the tears of joy, or will it be you that has the tears of sadness? As for the game, let's have it. And as for now, let's get into that UFO video, what I was telling you about, which basically, before we get to the video, I'm going to say how it was. I was in my house and somebody shouted, "Hey, Steve, get over here." And I'm like, right. So I'm running over. And they're like, "Look out there." And I'm looking out the window and I'm looking miles and miles and miles away. It's about, I think I was filming something probably 20, 30 miles away. But it was filming over the top of a lot of bright lights, which was a feedlot. A feedlot is where a lot of cattle, a lot of cows are, because we live in the country, cowboy country. And we got a lot of cattle out there. So, point is, you're going to see this video. Out in the distance, you'll see the white lights of the cattle farm, the ranch. And above them, white lights, you'll see two dots above it. Consistently over about 3 hours, those lights went on and off, disappeared, went nowhere, and were on at different times, on together, on singularly. They changed position. They actually moved from left to right across the feedlot. They started on the far left and they finished on the far right, and the lights followed each other like my fingers in perfect spacing throughout. They never got closer. They never got further. They stayed perfect spaced throughout. And at times, like I say, it was pitch black, like nothing was there, and then bang, they'd come straight on. You're going to see that. Absolute evidence that I saw a UFO with a few of my guys last night. And yeah, take a look at it. As for the final, get into it. Drop us a comment. And have you had a UFO experience? Because if you have, you could probably drop that down below. That's what I saw last night. Enjoy the game, guys. It's been a blast bringing this to you. It's a bit long, but I tell you what, I think you'll have enjoyed it. And I think you need to go get another beer or another coffee, because you've had that one sitting flat too long. Get into the final. Best of luck for both teams. Cheers. Okay. For the last hour, my wife and I have been watching those two lights above the feedlot. Now, you see that one to the left? It's kind of petering out. And the one to the right, it's pretty strong. We've been watching this for a long time tonight. Sometimes they disappear, like that. And they've shifted right across the feedlot in motion. The two lights started at the right edge of all the white lights, and now they're all the way to the left edge of the white lights, which is a massive feedlot. So yeah, we've been watching these things, like I say, pretty weird. And sometimes they both go out, so I wonder what that's all about. UFO, baby, UFO.